Wanna live good, you gotta work for it. Everything I gotta had to work for it. Wanna live good, you gotta work for it. Work for it, work for it.
Hey, I'm Creed with Defiant Fit. I just wrapped up a small group of standing dumbbell curls, and I like to talk about it a little bit after I get done, so I tell you the stuff I'm thinking before I forget it. And then as I go through the exercise, I'll edit it out and make comments and so on and so forth. Because my set of home dumbbells are kind of bigger than usual, they just have bigger plates. I've got a little guy that will help me describe what I do a little bit better. So I stand up with a little tiny bend in the knees. I find that most exercises, if you put just a tiny bend in the knees, it takes a whole lot of stress out of your lower back, and that's good for most things. I've tried all kinds of different curls, and so I'm giving you my best opinion based on a lot of abuse. So I started working out when I was 13. I'm now 63. Anyway, so 50 years. And in my 20s, I used to train really hard with big, huge weights. If you could imagine me 30 or 40 years younger and 30 or 40 pounds bigger. Yeah, I used to lift all kinds of heavy stuff. Nowadays, we're focusing on just keeping that tone and not harming our joints as bad as I used to. So I'm here to protect you. I've tried all the different curls, so I'm going to set this down a second. Everybody's going to tell you, put your arms tight, come up, go down. I've tried them a lot, many times. Straight bars, curl bars, right? The ones that are shaped, wider grip, narrower grip. I don't like it. It grinds against the elbows and the shoulders and all kinds of stuff. So this is not a hammer curl, what you're going to be seeing, but it's different than what you're normally told. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to let my arms just come down naturally against my lats. I am not going to try to squish them up here tight. I am not going to try to keep my arms dead straight. If you think about it, you go to pick up something at the house. Let's say it's a 25-pound box. You don't do that. What do? You grab it and you lift it up towards you, right? And that's what I'm doing with curls nowadays. So my standing dumbbell curls, I'm going to be nice and comfortable, a little bend in the knees. My stomach's pulled in, but I'm not doing an isometric flex or anything. I'm just pulling it in so my posture's good. I keep a tiny bit of an arch in the lower to mid back, and I keep my shoulder blades back. If you let your shoulders roll forward and you curl, you're going to feel it here. You go ahead and get in that nice posture and you curl, and oh, you feel it here. Good idea. And that's what I'm doing. I am using a natural body motion. My hands, and I'll show you the position here in a second, but they're essentially in a neutral position, you know, just kind of straight. And then as I come up, it naturally rotates. Does that make sense? So down here, I let it go straight. And as I come up, it just naturally rotates. It's that simple. It's the way your body wants to move. Let it move that way. You can focus on the muscle much more, and you don't destroy the joints. It's just amazing, right? So when I do them, that's it. I'm going to come up, and I'm going to come up to about the sternum. If you come up here, by the way, you're deloading the bicep and loading the shoulder. Don't do it. And from the side, it's a little bit like this. And that's it. That is the curl. That's what I'm going with. And I'm going to set this down. And I'm using the same strategy I'm using on every exercise. And that is a 2 to 3 second motion up, a squeeze, And you can give a nice little squeeze in the bicep, and then keeping that squeeze feeling all the way down for 2 or 3 seconds. That's it. Tiny pause. I very much prefer to alternate arms. Yeah, it takes longer. But I know when I do this, I eventually get a little rock going. I eventually have to bring my arms more forward, and it starts to load the shoulder. I can keep a much cleaner motion, one arm at a time. Yeah, it's going to take longer, but it's worth the effort. And that's really about it. I normally on biceps are going to do the same thing I do on everything else, and that's a low set and a high set, and a low set and a high set. That just means a lower weight and then a higher weight, lower weight, higher weight. I find that really helps me keep my absolute focus. You really need to focus on the muscle group you're working. And when I do that really light, slow thing, it's really helping me concentrate. And then I take the weight up a little bit. I'm not talking about big heaving weights, but then you can really think about keeping that good form. And then you drop back down to that light weight, and you very purposely with your brain focus and squeeze and keep that tension all the way down. Doing that on every exercise. And when you try it on leg presses, we'll do that later in life, you can really light yourself up in a way you haven't in a long time. It just absolutely devastates the muscle, but it protects the joint, because we're never going, when I was young, every day, bigger, bigger, heavier, heavier, right? And so that would be our workout. We start here, and then we go up, and we go up, and we go up, till you finally, that 1 rep max every stupid workout, and shoulders are throbbing, your elbows are throbbing. If you want to do that, there's a whole bunch of people on the internet that'll help you do that. If you want to build up and tone and protect those joints and do other sports and things like that, that's where I'm at to help you out. So let's talk about and go through the bicep workout now. So the form, motion, and muscle group here on the bicep. Out of all the exercises that we do, other than bench, I suppose, watching people do their big curls in front of the mirror might be the biggest ego feed that the gym has there. So here's where I'm at. I used to curl real heavy and do all kinds of stuff, and I used to always be sore where the elbow bends and have all kinds of forearm and wrist problems. I've dropped my weight down, and I've also, as I described in the beginning part of the video, decided to do just this really natural motion. The natural motion being my elbows are not planted against my sides, and I let the bicep right against the lat, and I'm pulling across my body. And it's just a really natural motion, trying to do a straight bar curl where your arms don't move, they simply bend. It's just so harsh on your joints. So I've given that up. Now this is not a hammer curl per se, coming across with my hand kind of in a vertical position. At this point I'm lifting up in pretty standard curl position. I do let the bar come diagonally across my palm. That just feels more natural and lets me load the bicep more individually. I'm still doing the 2 to 3 second motion, maybe just barely 2.5 on the bicep curl. It's hard for me to do that 3 or 4 second motion on this. And I'm just squeezing it up. I bring it up to the top over 2-3 seconds, squeeze it hard, and then keep that tension. So we squeeze hard, get the tension, and keep it all the way down. Now at this point, I'm just kind of keeping my hands in that 45-degree angle, and the dumbbells are coming down essentially to my quad area. Sometimes I'll also straighten my arms toward the bottom so they come more to the side, and I let in a little bit more rotation. And that's fine as long as you keep, tension in the bicep. The secret is do not deload the bicep. Keep working it through the whole range of motion. And don't, just don't cheat and swing your back and jerk it. And your joints are going to feel so much better. I promise you that. And I'll still do the high and low weights on this, So one set might be for 10 or 12, maybe even 15 reps. Another set might be only for 6 or 8 or 10 reps, and so I add some weight. But I still keep the same form and the same timing and try to squeeze at the top, try to keep that tension all the way back down. So I am really comfortable with this, and I know that a lot of folks are going to tell you to do your curls quite differently. I've tried them every way you can imagine, and I was loving the machines a lot, but my elbows kept getting sore. And I'm like, man, I am using the best form. I'm not cheating. What is wrong with this? And I think it's just a matter of any time you use a fixed machine to do essentially almost any exercise, it's not allowing a natural rotation. If you look, my hands are rotating a little bit, my arms are rotating a little bit, and they're moving. So I've got the upper arm as fixed as I can, but see, there it moves a little bit, and then it comes down a little bit, and you just lose all of that motion that your body naturally wants to do anytime you're clamped into a machine. So this is where I'm at. Give these a try. See if you like them. They're nothing special, but the main deal is it focuses 100% on the bicep, and it just seems to be protecting all of my joints in my arm. Oh, and if you've ever gotten pain in the front of the shoulder from doing curls, what's happened there is you're not keeping your shoulders back. So, you get going on these things and you start leaning forward and you start, curling up toward the shoulders too much. And I think that's where everything is. If you keep your shoulders back and down, these are really going to protect your joints. And here's failure. Failure is the same as always. When I can no longer squeeze these weights up over a 2 to 3 second period, give them a half-second pinch at the top, come back down for 2 or 3 seconds. When I could no longer do that without completely swinging my back. Now you see some body motion there, but it's really me taking a big deep breath and flexing all the stabilizer muscles in my stomach and back. I'm not really swinging or cheating. It's just I'm so exhausted that I've got to put my whole body into it to keep a good form. Give these a shot and see if these don't feel better than whatever you've been doing on your curl routine.
Work for everything I got, I had to work for it. Yeah. Living good, a hell of a night, but I had to work for it. Yeah. Work for everything I got, I had to work for it. Yeah. Living good, a hell of a night, but I had to work for it.